Good morning, Top Fan Rivalry listeners. We are back with the weekly review. It is Saturday morning. We are back.
Woo, woo, woo.
We are back. We are back.
Yes, we're back again.
Yep, every week, all baseball season. We'll be here.
All baseball season. All baseball season. Jackson, I am so excited about today. There's so much to talk about, and baseball has gotten crazy. And so I am loving life right now. So, Jackson, you're a leadoff hitter, man. Lead us off. What is numero uno on your list?
I think I'm going to go. I'm going to shout out the first third baseman to ever hit 250 home runs and steal 250 bases. Congratulations, Jose Ramirez, for joining elite company. I believe there's only 29 players in MLB history to hit 250 home runs and steal 250 bases. He's the first third baseman. The joke is Jose Ramirez is so underrated at this point. He's overrated because everyone talks about how underrated he is. Honestly, a couple more years of production. If he gets like 350, he's in the Hall of Fame. Uh, Tell me I'm wrong. You know,
Uh-uh. Mm-mm.
he's got a career
Uh-uh.
850 OPS, hits a ton of doubles. You hit that like 300 home runs, 300 stolen bases. People start looking at you going, that's a pretty good player. So congratulations, Jose Ramirez. Really kind of anchoring Cleveland in their start this season. He's been a big
You,
part of it.
Jose. Excuse me, everybody. We're recording on Saturday morning. It's 6 a.m. on the West Coast. So forgive me if you hear a yawn or two. One of the things about if Jose Ramirez were playing for a big market team, Boston, New York, LA, any one of the Chicago's, or even St. Louis in that facet, because St. Louis gets a lot of publicity, people would be all over this guy. But he has, I'm looking him up right now. He has 260 home runs and 250 stolen bases in his career. Not only that, but he's got 1,529 hits. He's only 30. So if the guy plays another 6 seasons, he's got a chance. And I'm looking, he's got 3 more years with the Guardians. If the guy plays another 6 seasons, definitely be over 2,000 hits.
Oh
He'll
yeah,
definitely be over 300 home runs. He'll definitely be over 300 stolen bases. How does that not get you in the hall?
yeah. Honestly, for a guy, I think where it helps is he's played with Cleveland his whole career. You know how much the baseball writers are a sucker for guys who do that.
Mm,
Because it is impressive. It's really hard to stick with one team your whole career and really just from the get go be, good enough to make the team and then stick around long enough. Because we always talk about it. Baseball's a business. Teams do what's best for them. Players do what's best for themselves. And there's not really an issue with that, but it's just impressive that guys have longevity with one club.
yeah. No, I would completely agree with what you're saying. I would completely agree with what you're saying. Okay, I'm going to transition from an individual to a team.
All right.
Okay, this team has lost 7 in a row. They're 1-9 in their last 10 games.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
They have a plus minus differential of negative 55, and Mike Trout is now on the IL. Are the Angels starting to show they had a great start, but are the Angels starting to show the Angels?
You stole one of my number three because I was going to rag on the schedule again. So I guess I'm busting out my opinion right now.
Bust
Uh,
it out. Bust it out, Jackson.
Bill, their opening schedule was horrendous. The Angels, they were all over the place. They were going coast to coast the entire time. I
Mhm.
think the Angels are going to get back on track this month because they do not play a game outside of the state of California until the end of this month.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think that I think that will get them the rhythm that they've been looking for. They really had kind of this wacky. I think they've been to Toronto already. No, they spent a lot of time in the Central. They've been on the East Coast.
Mm.
They've been everywhere, and you know it's ridiculous how they set up. We've talked about the set up the baseball schedule. A lot of these division rivals don't play each other till June.
Mhm.
Like, come on.
So yeah, and so but here's my issue with the Angels. Last night they're in a dogfight, right? They're in a dogfight last night. It's 1-1. Jose's pitching very well. They're in a dogfight, and then they go and they give up 8 runs in the ninth to a very, very good Detroit Tigers team, which I'll talk about in a second. Um, I yes, the Angels are. I'm wondering. I'm wondering where the losing streak stops. I hope it stops today, but I'm wondering where the losing streak stops. Just they have a lot. They're either pitching or they're hitting. They can't do both, and I mean, their fans are even like, Jackson out here. We are getting advertisements already. Win free ticket, buy such and such, get 2 free Angel tickets. Like we're talking early May now, and they still play Detroit twice. They play a very good Toronto team. They play a Baltimore team that is making their way back, and then they play
Jekyll and Hyde is what I call Baltimore.
right. But then they play May 12th through the 14th. Those 3 games they play in San Diego, and then they go from San Diego to LA.
Look,
So
I know that's tough, but they will be close to home. My whole point is, I'm not saying the Angels are going to jump to the top of the division. I'm saying they will play better. They will not continue to lose games
okay, okay.
at the clip they are currently at. But yeah, I think you're just seeing a young team, inconsistencies, executing both phases of the game. It comes from having a young ball club. We've seen it recently with teams like the Tigers for parts of last year. We've seen it with teams, the Washington Nationals last year were a team like that. They either pitched really well or hit really well. It was really hard for them to do both at once.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it really is just, growing pains. I think they're developing their players pretty solidly. They have a couple of arms that look pretty good. Logan O'Hoppe looks like an all-star level catcher. So I think it's safe. It's kind of looking like they won that Brandon Marsh trade, honestly. So
Well, you know what? Do you know what I attribute that to, though? And I've told you this. I attribute that to the fact that they signed Travis d'Arnaud because
yeah,
they literally told Logan, "You have a slow start, you don't make it happen." We got a guy who's done it before and is young enough where he can still play. I'm sorry, Logan, but you got to make it happen.
yeah, it's good. It's always good to bring in a veteran catcher to push, your young guy over the finish line. I think the Angels are doing the right thing. I wouldn't get caught up in how many games they win or lose this year. Uh, I think the next couple of years are really going to be, did they do the right thing? As far as their player development goes. I think in the next 2 to 3 seasons we'll see whether they were successful or not.
Well, and here's the problem, Jackson, right? They've already lost 19 games. They lost 99 games last year. They could potentially go up to losing 100 games this season. If they don't get under the 90s, if they don't get 90 or less wins this season, it's an epic fail, regardless of player development, because you're going to have fan revolt. And it's that, I mean, what they're doing, they're going to take years to undo. Years. I'm not just talking 1 or 2 years. I'm talking they have to change. It's going to be years to change. So
But
they bounce back. I have faith in them, but hopefully they bounce back.
a lot of it's on the ownership group. You know, I will take every opportunity to take shots at Artie Moreno for the way he runs his ball club, and I think him pushing through signings over the past decade has set the Angels back to where they are at. And I think they kind of have to go through this culture shock of maybe they are going to lose the fan base because he's the owner. And
Yeah,
I think the general management, like Perry Manassian and his team, understand that. But what they're paid to do is make the team better. You know, it's a mess.
yeah. I
Somebody's
don't
got to
put it
clean
on
it up.
Perry's shoulders. I definitely put it on
No.
Artie's. Yeah. So, all right, Jackson, what do you got for number two?
Number two, let's stay in the AL West. The Mariners started 4-8. They are at the top of the division, Bill.
Yes.
Those Seattle Mariners. Uh, Part of it is, they got the league leader in home runs, Cal Raleigh, fantastic catcher. But there's a guy I wanted to talk about that, you know, I'm gonna, eat my crow here and talk about Jorge Polanco here, who I talked about. That's the only thing the Mariners did all offseason. Well, apparently they know a lot more than I do, and which is why I don't get paid to run a baseball team. Jorge Polanco is off to a blazing start to the season for Seattle. He's hitting 384 with a 418 on base percentage. He's got 9 home runs and 25 RBIs, and he's really kind of been that missing bat that Seattle's needed. outside of Julio Rodriguez and Cal Raleigh to, you know, help them win those close ball games
Yeah.
with that pitching. It's really been the difference. Jorge Polanco has been, probably their most. He's been as valuable, if you like looking at WAR as a stat, as he was last year in 22 games as he was in 118 games, and that's a really, really big deal for the Seattle Mariners as they look to take a division that honestly doesn't look that strong.
Yeah. 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 It does look great. So your Oakland A's or your Sacramento A's are playing up to your potential. I mean, they're in second place right now.
Yeah, 8-2 in their last 10.
Yep.
Hey, hey,
Yeah, you're looking like a genius right now. No, I actually very much like the Mariners. Um, the Mariners kind of slide under the radar, and like you said, you mentioned Cal Raleigh. Um, Even though he's batting like 240 or 245, something like that, he's hitting a lot of bombs. And as a catcher, any offensive production you get from a catcher is a bonus,
and
right?
I think guys. So I'm going to make a lot of old heads mad here. Um, Guys that hit 200 and hit lots of home runs are really good in lineups that you can construct correctly. If you can put them behind guys who get on base, like Jorge Polanco, who's getting on base at a 418 clip, it does a lot of damage because when they get hits, it scores runs every single time.
Reach. I love it. I love it.
The problem is when you have the five of those guys hitting 218 that only hit home runs because they're going to just be smacking solo home runs and you're losing every game 4-3.
Yeah, no, preach. I love it. I love it.
So
Um, Jackson, you mentioned team. How about I mention an individual now? Do you realize that we are in the month of May and we have somebody batting over 400?
hey, it's that time of the week again. All rise.
Yeah, I listen, I can't I hate always mentioning this guy, but he's hitting 430. Uh I mean, the guy is hitting he's putting the ball in play. Last night he had a triple. I mean, he's making pitchers pay for mistakes. And so last night I was flipping back and forth. It was actually perfect timing because the Dodger game had just come on from commercial and Shohei was at bat. And on Fox Sports LA and then on the MLB network, Aaron Judge was at bat. So I'm like flipping between two of the best, arguably two of the best players in baseball, right? And Aaron Judge has got a 3-2 count. He fouls off, and then a pitcher makes a mistake and leaves it in the zone, and he outfielder misplayed it. Aaron didn't run out of the box right away, but still made a triple. The guy is playing well. I mean, Jackson, I get the fact that we're always mentioning this guy, but tell me I'm wrong. The guy's hitting 430 right now. He
Yeah.
can go into the All-Star break with 30 home runs and like 120 hits.
Yeah. I saw somebody floating stats around Aaron Judge's last 160 games or so are on par with one of Barry Bonds' monster seasons. I think it was 2001 when he hit the
Yeah,
73 home runs. Uh, Obviously, Judge comes short in home runs by like 12 because Judge isn't roided to the gills.
yep,
But
yep,
yeah, the on base percentage, the slugging percentage, the value. Aaron Judge is a plus defender. Fly ball from in the World Series aside, the dude can fly out there. The dude can play defense. Everyone clowns him for missing that ball in the World Series. Aaron Judge is a very good outfielder. He hits the ball hard, and I think you're right. I think he's just in this zone where he just doesn't miss. And
yep, yep.
honestly, I think other teams, the best thing to do would just be sit on the edge of the zone and just throw him junk and hope he chases.
Yeah.
And if you walk him, you walk him. You have to give him the Barry Bonds treatment because otherwise he's going to do damage. Now, if the Yankees can get guys on base in front of him, they're going to win a lot of ball games. That's all I'm going to
Yeah, I
say.
mean, the guy, I did the math on it the other day, and obviously he will slow down at some point. You'll hit the dog days, but I did the math the other day. He was on, he was 262 hits, 56 home runs, and like 179 RBIs or something like that. Oh, and by the way, on pace for like 21 stolen bases. It
So
was ridiculous.
he's just casually on pace to the tie Ichiro single season hit record and hit 50 home runs. Got it.
Yeah,
Cool.
so it's worth mentioning on the show, right?
He's Yeah, I'm sure the hits will slow down once teams stop pitching to him. There's going to be a critical mass where he's just not going to get anything to hit.
Yeah.
Honestly,
But he's over 50 hits. And And Jackson, if he goes into, I mean, here's what's crazy, right? In the 80s, you talk about the old vets, right? In the 80s, if you got 130 hits and you hit 20 home runs in a season, boy, that's a great season. This guy's going to do this by the All-Star break. This guy's going to have 25, 30 home runs and 115, 120 hits by the All-Star break. Everything else is gravy. So, um,
Yeah, as being a child when Barry Bonds played, it feels like Barry Bonds, like Aaron Judge every night it just does something where you're all like, okay, cool.
yeah,
Like, how is he getting better? But again, it's just like I think Aaron Judge is cementing himself as an inner circle Hall of Famer.
100.
Uh, He doesn't have to put up seasons like this. If he puts up seasons, equal to like his second worst season for the next 5 years, he's in the Hall of Fame easy. But if
Yeah,
he's doing that, if he's doing this, he's going to be like 100% first ballot Hall of Famer because he debuted at 25 bill and he's got these crazy stats.
yeah,
He's this good.
100%. 100%. Okay, Jackson, before we get on to number three for you, which it sounds like I stole, before we get on to number three for you, let's talk about getting personalized baseball cards. TopFanRivalry.com in the team store, you can get your own personalized baseball card. You can use them for graduation gifts, you can use them for wedding announcements, you can use them for business cards, you can use them for baseball cards. They're super cool. You submit your own picture to us and whatever you want on the back. um, some of the people that love them submit their favorite team and their favorite player and some baseball memories. Do whatever you want. But Jackson, I got to tell you, you don't pay full price. What code do you use?
Use code Jackson, get 10% off. Grab yourself a
You use
stack
code
of
Jackson, get
personalized
10%.
baseball cards. And yeah, get them for Mother's Day, get them for Father's Day, get them for your birthday party. Anything you want
Yeah,
to invite somebody to. It's fun. And come on, baseball cards
it's
are like the coolest thing.
it's a good time. It's a good time. So, um, hey, Jackson, what you got for number
I'm going to talk about the San Diego Padres. The injuries keep piling up for them. Fernando Tatis Jr. left the game last night with a hit by pitch to the forearm, and that's a big deal. He's leading the National League in hits, batting average, WAR. It's a big blow to the Padres, who are already down Jackson Merrill and Luis Ariz.
three?
And if Fernando Tatis misses any extended period, does that potentially sink the Padres' playoff hopes? If it's a couple of months, if Merrill stays out and Tatis is out for a month and a half, it can they survive it?
Well, the question that you're asking really is can they survive it in the National League, right? So you've got the Giants that are playing very well right now, the Dodgers that have taken back the crown. As of right now, you got the Mets that are playing games that are coming up. Um, you've got the Phillies that are playing very well. You got the Cubs that are playing very well. So, uh, yeah, this could spell danger.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that. If you're a Padre fan, are you worried at this point?
I
Maybe.
would.
Are you worried?
I think you got to be a little worried. The initial X-ray came back negative, is what it looks like. But as a Braves fan, let me tell you, that means nothing. Uh, that happened like 3 times last year. I kid you not. Oh, negative. He's fine. Actually, no, his arm's like it's gonna fall off, and you're like, who's on the X-ray machine? Like the unpaid intern. Like, come on, guys.
Awesome.
But yeah. But
Awesome.
potential trouble in San Diego because
Potential trouble in San Diego.
Fernando Tatis Jr. looks like what the guy who signed that massive extension.
Yeah. Yeah. Ouch. Okay. This one might surprise you, Jackson, but I'm playing the stats game today. I'm taking a play out of your or a page out of your playbook. I'm talking about a 26-year-old that is not getting a lot of publicity. Let's talk about Mackenzie Gore for a second. Plays for the Washington Nationals, obviously. The record 2-3, but again, if you pitch for the Nationals, a lot of things can happen. That's weird. He's got a 3.51 ERA. Here's the stat that I want to pay attention to, Jackson. 41 innings, 59 strikeouts. He leads the MLB as a strikeout leader. And I mean, to good guys, right? I mean, we're talking the MLB, he leads it. Zach Wheeler is behind him by two strikeouts. Hunter Green, Carlos Rondon, and Garrett Crochet. But again, Mackenzie Gore is just going out. Jackson, and he's got 50 runs. Tell
Hey,
me
look,
that this guy isn't going to be fun to watch.
the Nationals and Padres won the Juan Soto trade. The real losers are the Yankees of that trade, but I think the Nationals trading Juan Soto when they did was the correct move. And this is the headliner they got back. This is the guy they expected to get back in that trade. It's taken him, a season and a half to kind of find his bearings, really. But
Yeah,
Mackenzie Gore is the ace as advertised. You would hope if you trade your star outfielder, this is what you get back. He's got a nice arsenal of pitches from the left side. There's not, we see now there's in the MLB, a lot of the top pitchers, there's a lot of really good lefties. There's a common theme with all of them. They throw four or five pitches, all of them, and they throw hard. And, in today's MLB, being able to get in on the right handers and then just being able to pepper left handed batters wherever you want is just so valuable. And I think Mackenzie Gore is going to lead the Nationals to a playoff berth here in the next couple of years.
yeah, it might not be this season, but he's definitely the Nationals are putting stuff together that is just absolutely amazing. Right?
Yeah. You know, again, the Nationals, much like the Angels, look as advertised for this season. The difference with the Nationals, though, is they're a lot further along because you see progress of guys like Mackenzie Gore
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm,
guys like James Wood.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, Mackenzie Gore, sneaky NL Cy Young candidate in an NL full of really good pitchers.
Yep.
I know there's a Dodgers pitcher up there who pitched really well last night. He's the he's
Oh,
the
I'm going
he's
to talk about him in a
yeah
second.
he's the front runner, but Mackenzie Gore could be a sneaky dark horse because there's always the ups and downs of a season if Mackenzie Gore can keep up his level of play.
Yeah, no, 100%. I like it. I like it. Jackson, go take us to number. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a short show today. We're not going to go full hour. We're going to go about 40 minutes today. So if you think we're kind of clipping, we are. Jackson does not just have a face for radio, but Jackson has stuff to do today. So Jackson
Unfortunately,
has
sorry.
told me, Bill, hold my Gatorade. I only got a certain amount of time. I don't care what our agents have agreed to. I can't be here. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
I got to move fast enough to beat the freeze today. Uh,
there you go. Beat the
for those of
freeze.
you who understand that reference.
I very much do. Okay, take us to your number four.
I want to talk about another pitcher who's pitching really well to start the season. Let's talk about Jacob deGrom, who I think quietly is looking like old Jacob deGrom. He's made six starts this season. He's posted a 2.73 ERA down in Texas. He's got 33 strikeouts in 33 innings. Obviously, that's not as good as prime Jacob deGrom, but I think it's looking pretty good after coming back at the end of last year and pitching well. I think that the Texas Rangers might have something here if they can get 150 innings out of Jacob deGrom. I know he's 37, but I think he's kind of the big key for Texas this season. If they can keep deGrom healthy and they can keep Evaldi healthy at the front of that rotation, I think the Texas Rangers have a really good shot of winning the division and going far in the AL playoffs. Because the AL, we've talked at length, the AL's wide open. And that, if deGrom's half the pitcher he was at his prime, I think the Rangers are in a very good shape.
Right, right. No, Jacob deGrom is an interesting person because he is, yeah, yeah. If he stays healthy, like you say, he's going to be pretty awesome, right? But if he doesn't stay healthy, then you
Texas is
know
probably in trouble.
exactly, exactly. I that one, that one is. It's interesting because and I don't know how much truth I put to this, but I'm to understand um that you insure contracts, right? And part of the reason why Clayton Kershaw's contracts have been so tough is because insurance. So what a lot of insure, they're going to sign a big deal, so they're going to insure the contract. That way, if you go out on IL, they get some relief and they don't have to make, a bunch of payments. Apparently, Texas did not insure Jacob's contract like he was healthy, so they had to pay him out of their pocket last year.
Hmm.
So every time I hear Jacob DeGrom, I think, Texas may have gotten the raw end.
Yeah. But hey, it's exciting when players are healthy. Jacob deGrom at when healthy is one of the most exciting pitchers in baseball. I love watching him pitch. He has a really nice arsenal. You want to talk about guys that have four pitches they can dominate.
Yes, he
deGrom
does.
deGrom is a really really good pitcher.
Yes, he is. When he's healthy, he's dominant. Speaking of dominance,
There you go. I
let's
gave
stay
you the
on the
segue.
mound. Yamamoto, 4-2, strikeouts 49, innings pitched 40, ERA in 40 innings, .90. Ain't nobody touching this guy. And you saw it last night against the Braves. He is a very, very good pitcher. He is coming into his own as a pitcher in the MLB. I like him. Uh, Jackson, what were your thoughts when you saw him pitch? I assume you saw part of the game at least last night, right?
I watched until it went into the rain delay, and then I went
Yeah,
to bed because it was like 11 o'clock.
yeah.
So,
So what were your
but
thoughts?
I thought he was good. Honestly, I thought the Braves hit a couple of balls really hard right at him, literally
Yeah,
right at him.
yeah,
And I think that was the difference in the game that the Dodgers had those two infield singles, which produced a run. And but Yamamoto fielded his position well. He pitched well enough to go the six scoreless innings. I think the most impressive thing for me watching him pitch is how little he used his best pitch, the splitter. Um, he was really good last night without it, and I think that's a scary thought that you know as a starting pitcher, if he doesn't need to use his splitter, his best pitch to get people out every single time,
yeah,
it really becomes a problem when you're hitting because he can go one time through the order without dropping the splitter really, and then the second, third time through the order, you, you can't sit on it when a guy's got seven pitches, and it comes out at the best times. It induces a lot of weak contact. And I think that's the only knock against him I could probably put is the splitter's almost never in the zone. So if guys could ever pick it up, they'll just take it every time. But like again, he's got seven pitches, so good luck.
yeah, yeah. No, he is a dominant force. Um, and last season when he had started slow in Dodgerville, everybody was like, "Oh, we made this guy's going to be terrible." Same thing with Roki. When Roki started slow, well, things have bounced back. I watched I watched most of that game up until the rain delay, and then when it happened, I so I was watching the Angels game, and then after the or when it came back on, I watched. I will say though that he looks like he's effortless in his mechanics. He doesn't lift his leg very far up. His mechanics are a little different, but he's so good. He is so good.
Yeah. And, and again, he has a four seamer, and then he has that two seamer that has like a ton of run
Uh-huh.
to arm side, and then the splitter, which like honestly, if he threw those three pitches, he'd be really good. But then he has a slider and a curveball, and then a cutter. It it reminds me of when Yu Darvish came over, and Yu Darvish had like 15 pitches,
Yeah,
unhittable.
yeah, yeah. No, it 100%. And he's
It's what it
and
reminds me of.
well, and I don't normally talk about ERAs uh, because those it depends. But when you pitch 40 innings and your ERA is under one, you at least got to mention that, right? So, I mean, good season so far for Yamamoto. He is definitely putting some things together. I do not like Mackenzie Gore. I do not put a lot of value in the win-loss record. Mackenzie Gore's 2-3, although he leads the MLB in strikeouts. Yamamoto's 4-2, and he's nowhere near. I mean, Mackenzie Gore's got, I think, 10 more strikeouts than he does, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that's a full. That could be a start or a start and a half difference.
Yeah.
But Mackenzie Gore plays for a team that doesn't score a ton of runs. Yamamoto plays for a team that the first three batters are Hall of Famers or future Hall of Famers.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny if you look at like the game logs, like his last 5 games, the Dodgers gave him 2 runs of support, no runs of support, 3 runs of support, 3 runs of support, 2 runs of support.
Yeah,
And it's just fun. It's always funny that every year there's the one star pitcher who has to deal with the no run support. It seems like Yamamoto's that guy, and
but he's answering the task.
yeah, he's doing the best he can. Last year I think that was Zach Wheeler for the Phillies. He'd go out, throw 7 innings, give up 2 runs, get a loss. It's like, bro, with this lineup, you should be scoring more than 2 runs every night. But hey,
Exactly. But what are we? Who do we know, right? Um, okay,
hey, but
Jackson, before we get into your number five and my number five and honorable mentions, we must mention the 27 Outs Club. Guys and gals, if you are a card collector, if you are in the hobby and you want to save some money, I think we only have 16 teams left or 17 teams left. For $27, you can claim your team. You get a $5 off coupon for every month in the team store. And in addition to that, you get early access to whatever breaks that we do, whether they are box breaks or a case break with we're going to be doing this. So Jackson, take it away for number five.
number 5, we mentioned them earlier, but I want to talk about the Baltimore Orioles,
Okay.
and I want to tell everyone to calm down. The 2025 Baltimore Orioles have not been very good. I get that. They're 13 and 18. That's not good. The pitching's been really bad, but also their pitching has been really injured. They're out their best arm, Grayson Rodriguez. Dean Kramer's been on and off the list. Kyle Bradish has been hurt. So they're really a rotation full of 4 and 5s. Uh, everyone, I've been hearing. I just need to curb everyone saying the window is shut. That is a ridiculous thing to say.
It's early.
The core is still together, and I think the Orioles do have some positives from the opening of their season. I think the core has underperformed probably the most it ever has. But I think the biggest positive for them is they have found a nice number 2 starter in Tomoyuki Sugano, who is a Japanese pitcher who came over that a lot of people don't realize came over. There was all the talk about Roki Sasaki coming over from Japan. Sugano's been really good for Baltimore. He's 3-1 with an ERA of 3. Uh, and he's been doing what he's been doing his whole career, which isn't getting a ton of strikeouts, but it's generating a ton of weak contact. Lots of ground balls, lots of weak little flares. And he's kind of kept the Orioles in the fight. And I think all Baltimore needs to do is hang in there until they can get their pitching healthy. Because if they can get the bats going and the pitching's league average, this Baltimore team's really good.
Yeah.
So I just want everyone to calm down.
Yeah.
The Orioles window is not closed.
They're 5.5 back right now, though they're in the sun, 5.5 back. And there's still plenty of time for them to win different series. And they're gonna play some bad teams. And so you take 2 out of 3 from those, and then you start taking 2 out of 3 from your division rivals, right? Tampa Bay, Toronto, take 2 out of 3 from those guys.
They just took 2 out of 3 from the Yankees.
Mhm. Mhm.
So that's the kind of stuff that needs to get them on track. They've been battered, but you're right. They play the Royals, the Twins, the Angels, the Twins again, and then the Nationals. This is a chance for this team to kind of get the bats going and find their footing. It's still early, guys. I know
Still
you can
very,
lose.
very early.
I know you can lose the division in April, but everyone needs to chill out. It doesn't happen every year that a team loses the division.
Now, Jackson, do you remember who the best team in the league is?
The best team in the American League. Oh, it's the Detroit Tigers. I know.
It's the Motown Boys. Yeah, these guys are obviously Riley Green is killing it right now. I mean, he had a night to remember last night, obviously. But Spencer Torkelson is hitting a lot better than he was. Javi, I know how to steal first base bias, has found his bat again. There's a lot of guys out there that are playing much, much better. I mean, even Jason Jung, who's come up. And I mean, he ran his mouth, the organization, yada, yada, yada. But they got 21 wins, 21 and 12. They're starting to though it's still very, very early, like we just mentioned the Orioles, they are starting to put some distance between their division rivals. And they're taking advantage of teams. So they have 4 games in Anaheim against the Angels. One of them they won, I think, 3-1. The other one they just won 9.
They won the
So
first game 10-4.
oh, 10-4. I'm sorry. Yeah, so they've scored
I have it right here.
19 runs and given up 5 in this series. So, 3-1. Um, but the Tigers are don't sleep on these guys. These guys are actually a little bit better. And Skubal pitched yesterday, and right goes in, gets the job done. So you can't complain.
Yeah, they're playing good baseball. You can tell because they moved Javi Baez to center field and it's working. That means the vibes are high. Honestly, when you see teams switch guys in positions and they try something new and it works, it's because the team chemistry and the clubhouse vibes are high. Guys
Yep.
believe in the team. The Tigers are playing baseball like a team that wants to win the AL Central.
Yes.
That
100%.
they're playing like a team that feels like they're the team to beat.
Yep. 100%
So
on that too.
yeah, great,
100% on that
good,
too.
good
So
start for Detroit. So I
it,
I know I made some people upset with my comments preseason about them. I will not retract them as of yet because it's still early.
as of yet,
Talk to me in September.
there you go.
Then we'll know who's right.
Well, Jackson, we got about 5 minutes left in the show. So talk to me about your honorable mentions.
So on May 1st was the anniversary of the longest baseball game played in MLB history. Bill,
Okay.
do you know which teams played and how long the game lasted?
I believe the Astros. I do not. They played, and I thought it was like something like that.
Nope. It was the Braves against the Dodgers, Bill. In 1920, the Braves and the Dodgers played the longest game in MLB history. That was a 1-1 draw that lasted 26 innings. The game was called due to darkness. Um, it's a fun game to read up about. It holds the record for the longest outings by starting pitchers ever. Both pitchers pitched the entire game. Both pitchers pitched 26 innings. Uh, Joe Oshiger, who pitched in that game, he's the only pitcher in MLB history with two 20-inning performances, one of them in this game. He holds the record for most consecutive scoreless innings in a game at 21 and two-thirds innings.
What an amazing stat!
Yeah,
Like I would not. I know that the Astros had a game. I want to say against the Dodgers. It was 21 or 22 innings at the Dome one time because I remember it got late and they actually canceled it and brought it back the next day. But this beats it.
yeah,
26 innings. That's amazing.
yeah. I guess the other fun fact about May 1st, 1920, it's probably overshadowed in baseball history because it's the day Babe Ruth hit his first home run as a New York Yankee.
Cool.
So it's arguably not the most significant thing that happened that day. So just a
Um,
fun little baseball tidbit I learned about this week. There's all sorts of things. Somebody went 0 for 11, which is a record. Never going to beat that. Somebody had 42 putouts in one game. Uh, the opposite starting pitcher had 12 assists, which is the most by a pitcher in a game. He also faced 96 batters, and that just hurts my arm thinking about
yes, yes, and he pitched 2 days later. No,
it. Probably. He's probably like,
awesome.
you know what? We'll try again tomorrow. Called the darkness. Oh, we'll do it again tomorrow. That's probably what they said.
Yeah, he only pitched 26 innings. You're good. Jackson, my trivia question about breaking up no hitters last week.
Your trivia question about breaking up no hitters? I don't recall one.
Okay. Can you name the only player in MLB history who has broken up 81 no hitters with a home run?
That's broken up 81 no hitters with a home run.
Yep,
Oh, is that Ricky Henderson?
that is Ricky Henderson.
That was a trick question. I see what you did there.
You got it. We can't tell the top end stats guy, but my mind went to okay, break it up with a no hitter. Gosh, that's got to be like the fifth or sixth or seventh inning.
Yeah,
But the person that asked me that when they told me, I'm like, he was a leadoff guy. They're like, but hitter. So,
Yeah,
um,
that's exactly my brain went through. I'm like, who would hit a lot of who hit a lot of home runs, and that would be like no Henderson. I'm like, it's like so random. There's so many guys with like 200, 300. I'm like, it's gonna be Ricky Henderson because he hit.
Lena, I said
Oh.
that on one of the shows, the two girls with the yaps, and when I finally told them, they got mad at me. They're like, "That was a trick question." I was like, "What?" I'm like, "Hey, did he or did he not break up no
Te-
hitters? Yes or no?"
technically right, the best kind of right.
Yeah, exactly. Jackson, we got to do this again next week. I appreciate you. Just in case you made it all the way through the show here, Jackson mentioned Jose Ramirez at 250, 250, the Seattle Mariners, the San Diego Padres, Jacob deGrom, and the Baltimore Orioles, and then an illustrious 26 inning game, and Babe Ruth hitting his first home run. While I mentioned the Angels, Aaron Arson Judge, Mackenzie Gore, and the Nationals, Yamamoto, the Detroit Tigers, and I tried to stump the top fan stats guy, which I need to wake up earlier in the morning to do. So, that being said, everybody, Jackson, I think we had a great show today. What do you think?
I think we did. We'll do it again next week.
We'll do it again next week. Have a great Saturday, all, and we will talk to you soon.